One of the most common questions that I get asked as a chiropractor is it bad for me to pop my own neck or my own back? So in essence, if I'm making the spine go click and clack or I'm levering on it just to feel things release, is that a bad thing? So first of all, why do people do this? They do it primarily because something is out of balance in the segments of their spine. They're feeling tightness and rigidity or maybe some pain and symptoms, and they feel like if they are putting some motion in there and they feel the joints release, that they're helping the situation, they're helping the problem. So really what's happening is you're going to be creating more instability over time. So what's actually releasing? So for every segment of the spine, you have 6 joints. Okay, not talking about the bottom or the top. The normal segments in the spine have 6 joints. So these zygapophyseal joints, or the Z joints as we call them in the back, typically are when you feel something release in your spine, or if you're getting adjusted and you feel that audible release, these are typically what's releasing. Sometimes it's a disc, and sometimes it's also just soft tissue or ligamentous structures or fascia, connective tissue around the joints, and that's what you're feeling release. So if a person feels that joint release, there's actually a little bit of an analgesic effect or a pain relieving effect that happens because of a little nerve that goes back into that joint, and it creates a little bit of pain relief for a short amount of time. So a lot of times what people are doing is they're chronically levering on their spine to make things go pop and click. But what they're doing over time is they're creating ligamentous instability. So what happens, you got these segments in the spine. Some of them are moving normally and freely. Some of them are fixated. They're not moving at all. And some of them are going to be what we would call hypermobile. Hyper meaning more than. They're moving too much. These segments of the spine are moving too much. So if you are levering on your own spine to make things go click and clack, really what's happening is you're creating more and more ligamentous instability. So the segments that are starting to move too much are moving way more than they're supposed to now. The difference between a chiropractic adjustment is when we make an adjustment to the spine, we're typically unlocking the segments that are fixated. They're not moving enough. So when you go click and clack of your own spine, there's no way that you can release the fixated segments on your own. So you have to remember that your spine isn't just bones sitting there in space. Your spine is completely encapsulated with muscle and ligament and connective tissue, so that when you are doing certain motions, you're releasing the spine, you're levering, you're grabbing hold of your chin and making something go click, or you're pushing on your head this way. You have these habits that you need to break. Usually what's going to happen is these ligaments are going to start developing the memory. They're going to get looser and looser and looser, and your spine is going to be more and more unstable as time goes on. And I've been in practice since 2003, and I can tell you that these people with the chronic cracking of their own spine, these are the hardest spines to get stabilized over time, because you've changed the ligamentous structure and stretched out so much over the hypermobile segments, and the other segments which are fixated, they're going to become more and more locked up, and then these segments are going to be more and more mobile. What we want is all of the segments of the spine to be balanced and moving in harmony. So that's why it takes a little bit longer. So the nice thing about getting your spine corrected properly is you don't feel the need to do that anymore. The more balanced your spine is, the less need that you have to do that, or the less urge that you have to do that. So just as a general rule of thumb, I would urge you strongly to break that habit, to stop making the spine go click on its own, stop popping your own neck. If you're just going through gentle range of movement and things like that, and you happen to feel a little connective tissue release or something like that, you're generally not going to be doing much damage. But if you are levering on the spine and making it release, that's what I find, you're going to be creating the most instability in your spine. So I hope that's helpful.